UFOs are real, burgeoning and not going away. I am your intrepid host, Marzulli. Welcome to a very interesting UFO update. We'll get into that, but first, a word from our trusted sponsor. It turns out the key to losing weight and keeping it off is not in carbs or fat or even in probiotic-rich foods. Nope. The end game of having a healthy weight, as well as more energy and a long, healthy life, comes down to a specific switch you can flip in your body to flush out unnecessary calories. Dr. Stephen Gundry is calling this caloric bypass. And by activating this specific process in your body, he has seen thousands, that's right, thousands of people dramatically improve their health, even at age 50 and beyond. This includes losing weight, getting tons more energy, and returning to the good health they had in their youth once they simply addressed this one key to better health. Not only that, this is actually associated with improved digestion, strong feeling joints and muscles, smoother skin, and healthier lives, meaning it could be the key to a happy life. Dr. Stephen Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using his research and has kept the weight off for over 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone, his health is fantastic, and he feels younger and healthier today than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people to date. And you can watch and learn more about it. And here's the link, folks, thehealthyfat.com/LA, thehealthyfat.com/LA. It's linked at the bottom of this video, but it'll teach you exactly how he has kept his weight off for free at thehealthyfat.com/LA. Folks, click on the link. And again, results may vary. I'm taking the vitamins that he's given me, and so far it's been good. And these are the claims of our sponsor, not necessarily those of Spiral of Life or L.A. Marzulli. So I don't, where do I go with this? How do I start? I don't like labels. You know, some people go, I'm an apostle and I'm a prophet and I'm a this. Well, I'm a sinner saved by grace. Okay, that's the first thing. So I'm just L.A. Marzulli. People, Dr. Marzulli and all this stuff. And I get that. I mean, honorary doctorates are great. And I would love to get the Doctor of Letters like Bill Salas Scott last year, 2024. That would be a real cool thing to get. But I'm just LA. So, but the Lord does speak, and he speaks through me sometimes. It's not every day. I have no control over it. But the other night, the date was last Wednesday. Okay. So this is Tuesday night. So it's coming up on a week. And I had this, it wasn't really a vision, but it was like a word from the Lord. I felt it was a word from the Lord. And I passed it forward. And what was interesting is, Friday, everything switched. Okay, this is what I wrote to a person who's connected. I'll just say that. I felt I had a word from the Lord. No way to add it, no way to vet it. And this remains between you and me and confidential. At the inauguration, Trump will be behind bulletproof glass, so he will think he is shielded. But what if one of the panels is not bulletproof? In other words, what if one of the panels has been switched out? Accidentally, right? Just like Butler, accidentally. He would be compromised. So then I write, I know you are connected. If you can pass this up, that would be great. Maybe have someone check into it. So what's interesting is on Friday morning, Trump's swearing-in ceremony moved indoors due to cold weather. Trump released a statement that the Gateway pundit covered that. And one of my friends wrote, this has nothing to do with the cold. And I agree. This has absolutely nothing to do with the cold. And the Secret Service is on high alert. The tension is absolutely palpable. He has enemies. There's already been 2 attempts that we know of on Donald Trump's life. And this is just unconscionable. It really is. I mean, the vitriol against this man it makes no sense at all. Why the hate? Russian collusion, they just keep bringing that up over and over again, even though it's been proven to be a hoax. So it'd be very interesting when he gets in. I'm believing all is going to be well. But what I find absolutely interesting is they moved it first from, and this of course was Friday, they moved it from where it was going to be held into the rotunda, Capitol building, into the rotunda. Then they went, no, we're not doing that either. We're going to move this into the White House. Why? Because think about this, where they were going to hold it originally, all right, you've got a massive area with, tens of thousands of people and buildings. And, who's to say you can't, in other words, you can't cover everything. That area could be compromised very easily. But then when you move it in the rotunda, you have more control over the area. But when you move it into the White House, now you really control the perimeter. You really do. You've got metal detectors. You've got guys stationed. I mean, you can control that area in the White House. And I think it's a brilliant move. Absolutely a brilliant move. So, for what that's worth, I found it very interesting because I sent that up on a Wednesday, and by Friday morning, they had moved it once to the rotunda, and then over the weekend, they moved it into the White House. So it'll be very interesting to see what transpires. All I can tell you is this. We live in very dangerous, tenuous times, unlike anything I've ever seen. So this came across my desk, and I want to thank the person who sent it. I'll keep them anonymous. This is from Valiant Thor. Now, I've talked about this before. Valiant Thor was a figure that emerged in the 50s and said he was from Venus. Now, I know some of you are rolling your heads, but listen to this. About a year or two, probably 2 or 3 years ago, actually, I got a call from a friend of mine, and she was saying that she was on the phone, and I'll tell you who it was Brandy Wells. So it was John B. Wells' wife in the office, and she gets this call, and the man goes, "This is Valiant Thor. I need to speak with John B. Wells." And the whole room turns green. Now, how do you do that? She's in her, and Brenda's a real straight shooter. So how do you turn the room green? The room is green. Unbelievable. And my name is Valiant Thor. Have John B. call me. Brittany takes down the number. She called me up. LA, what is this? Who is Valiant Thor? And I told her Valiant Thor was an entity, a person who emerged in the 50s that said he was from Venus, hobnobbed with people in Washington, and it just sort of disappeared as far as we know. So what I do find interesting is that the room turned green. When I called the number, nothing happened. And that's basically it. Very, very strange. But now we're getting these messages. This was from January 17th from Valiant Thor. Patriots, brief message to the point. In debriefing meetings in a previous post several months ago, I stated that myself and my light-being families have backdoor communications with Mr. Trump and many other White Hat Alliance leaders. For over a month now, myself, my families, and Patriot leaders have been giving Mr. Trump suggestions and advice on where to have the inauguration due to high destruction cabal. Let me get that again. Hold on, sorry. Due to high destruction capabilities by the cabal. Myself and my light-being families around the world can only put forth suggestions on how to keep Mr. Trump safe during his swearing in the proceedings January 20th. Humans have free will, and my families can't force anything onto humans. There has to be a verbal agreement between all of us, regardless of the procedure and who suggested it. All suggestions going forward have to be vetted to guard against a possible double or triple agent amongst the humans, and who may try to harm Trump, Vance, and all MAGA Republicans. So here's the deal. Notice that this entity, this is channeled information. So right away, we know because it's channeled, you can't trust it. Myself and my light beings families, and all this stuff. And Valiant Thor states, and I'll read this again. Debriefing meetings months ago, I stated that myself and my light being families. So what we're seeing here is this constant moving forward of a so-called alien agenda, whether it's from entities like who call themselves Valiant Thor and the light beings, whether it's from, and I just love this. We got these new tracks printed up. They'll be available. But, Barbara Marciniak, Bringers of the Dawn, Teachers of the Pleiadians, and it says, listen to what it says. We are the Pleiadians. Humanity is learning a great lesson at this time. The lesson is, of course, to realize your godhood. Well, strike one. We're not God. We know that. We're two. God is God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and we're human beings created in his image and likeness, but we're not God. We're never going to be God. But what I find interesting is this thing is heating up in ways that I've never seen. So the Lord, and I've already told you this, but new people come in, I want to say it again, that for several years, the Lord gives me like a word for the year. Last year it was no flesh, no sin, no death, no sting, hail to the King, hail to the King, hail to the King. So I said, Lord, what's the word for this year? And the Lord said, you have three little sayings that were dispersed or given to you over a period of time. The first one was 1998, 1999. So that's, 26, 27 years ago. And it was this is the coming great deception. The whole idea of the revealing of the so-called extraterrestrial presence. This is the coming great deception. And I sort of took the strong delusion and changed it up a little bit. Okay, that's where I got it from. So moving right along, a few years later, Richard Shaw and I are filming the very first Watchers. UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away. That's where that whole saying, that was the springboard for that saying. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, I was at Prophecy Watchers, and Gary Stearman and I had just finished recording a show. And I just said, Gary, we go up, they come down, we go up, they show up. And Gary looked at me and said, LA, you need to copyright that or whatever. And so the Lord said, put all three together, which is what I dug. UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away. This is the coming great deception. But when we go up, they come down. When we go up, they show up. We'll see what happens with that. I do find it very interesting that this Valiant Thor is saying what I, warned about, what I felt the Lord had given me a word about. We're not out of the woods yet. We'll see where all this goes. There are forces in this country that do not want Mr. Trump to succeed. So this is going to be a very interesting 4 years. But you got to watch the first two, because that's midterm elections. Usually everything flips. Maybe not this time. We'll see what happens. Folks, don't forget, we have got rungs of disclosure. I should just keep it on the desk right here. Rungs of disclosure. And by the way, the 19th rung on the ladder of disclosure is going to be revealed very soon. We're going to be talking about that with Karen Wilkinson and a friend of ours on the show here. We'll be telling you what that rung is. In the book, there are 17 rungs. Whoops. So here's what you got to remember. Let me switch this around. Here's what you got to remember. That rungsofdisclosure.com is an interactive website. I'm constantly posting UFO shows there. On the back of the book, there's all the footnotes. That's on the rungsofdisclosure.com website, as well as any updates. The 18th rung is already there. You should see it. The 19th rung was the News Nation whistleblower who came on the record over this last weekend, and that will be posted very soon. Mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. Folks, I will end by this. Rungs of Disclosure, 10-box UFO set. This is it. This is where the information is. I've been studying the phenomena for 30 years. I had an interesting email from a woman today. In fact, let me see if I can get that. I think I can. Hold on. This is from a woman by the name of Sherry, and she writes this. The deception isn't burgeoning any longer. It is here. The video above that I sent you, LA, depicts most everything you've been talking about from a secular perspective. God in his perfect timing, his love for mankind, and his patience in the beginning to open the eyes of Christians. I'm one of them. In all sincerity, and please forgive me for what I'm about to say, because I was humbly wrong. I thought you were a quack and avoided watching your show and ordering your book for months. Okay? So let me just say that again. We're making believers out of people because this is the coming great deception. So I'll read this again. In all sincerity, and please forgive what I am about to say, because I was humbly wrong. I thought you were a quack and avoided watching your show and ordering your book from us, Rungs of Disclosure. After a while, I could no longer deny it after God started revealing it to me through other books and videos and secular shows on television. God literally just blew it up in my face to the point where I could no longer deny it was him doing this. Be patient, LA. You may not ever know the impact you are having this side of heaven, but God used you in my life, and I thank you for that. And I thank you for your obedience to the Lord. Why are churches not talking about this? It is so clearly demonic in nature. Why is this not all over the news? I haven't even finished watching this yet, but just felt compelled to share it with you. God bless you and your wife. And the link that she featured, of course, was tonight. And this was the News Nation report. This is the 19th rung on the ladder of disclosure. I will be sitting down with Karen Wilkinson and a mutual friend of ours, and we'll be talking about the News Nation show, which happened yesterday, Saturday. So I'm recording this on Sunday, and we'll see where it goes. But that's basically it. It's being rolled out. So runsofdisclosure.com, pick up a copy, get our 10-box DB set. I want to thank my business partner, Gil Zimmerman. He's just done a great job, and we're a team, and I just pray that nothing will come against that team in Jesus' name. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Remember, UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away. This is the coming great deception. But when we go up, they come down. When we go up, they show up. Thanks for watching.